Hello, everyone. Welcome to Flutterwave Grow My Business webinar. I am Sean Umutonade, content creator at Flutterwave. And if this is your first time, welcome. It's great to have you here. What is the Grow My Business webinar? The Grow My Business webinar, we provide you with tools. It was started during the pandemic. So we provide businesses with tools and information they need to grow their business. We have industry experts all around the world coming on this webinar to share their years of experience and knowledge on how you can grow your business in Africa and beyond. So this is a continuation of last webinar, which we had 2 weeks ago. It's called Making the Most of Your Flutterwave Store. We know that you guys loved the last webinar, and that's why we're doing a continuation for that one, Making the Most of Your Flutterwave Store. We've changed the webinar from once a week to twice a month because of the ease of the lockdown and everyone is getting back to work. So with your feedback, we changed it to twice a month. We're going to be focusing on your major concerns from the last webinar on setting up your Flutterwave store and how to make sales. We have questions on how can I increase my sales. So we're going to touch in questions based on that, and we also have a Q&A section after that. I'm going to be introducing the host. Just give me a second while I share. We have Opelwa Abitoye. She's our vertical lead in the growth team, and she's also an account manager. And then we have Bolanle Barawa, commercial manager at Flutterwave. So our webinar is currently being recorded, and the recording will be sent out 2 to 3 days after the end of this webinar, 2 to 3 days. And you guys on this webinar, you get exclusive rights, and then we share it to everyone after a week. All previous webinars are available on our YouTube channel. You can just search Flutterwave and click on the Grow My Business webinar playlist. For questions, so to leave a question, if you have a question while the session is going on, you can leave it on the Q&A session. And if you have a comment, you can leave that on the chat. So try to separate your questions. And if you want to leave a comment, you can leave that on the chat. And then important questions and all your questions should be left in the Q&A session. And if we're unable to answer all your questions, you can always send us an email at hi@flutterwavego.com, or send us a direct message on Twitter at FLW support on Twitter, and on Instagram, you can send us a DM at the Flutterwave. So I'm going to go mute now, and I'm going to pass it on to Ope and Bolanle so they can start the session today.
Thanks for that. My name is Opelwa, and I have with me my colleague Bolanle to go through this presentation or these quick questions that we have for you today. So as OG already mentioned, we had a previous webinar where we had discussed most of these things here. However, we had to, based on popular demand, we had to do a part 2 of this. So this is sequel to the previous one we had. And we had 3 basic questions to address from the previous webinar. This is based on what the feedback we got, and then what you guys wanted us to focus on today. So there are 3 basic questions. Why am I not selling a Flutterwave store? What does Small Business Month mean as a Flutterwave store owner? And I don't sell physical products. So these are for people who have digital products. So we'll just go straight in. Bolanle and I would interchange on the conversation here. We'll try to make it very interactive, and then for you guys to learn as much as possible within the couple of minutes that we have, or within the couple of hours that we have. So I'm just going to go into the slide straight away. Next slide, please, Bolanle. Okay, so the first question is, why am I not selling on my Flutterwave store? A lot of people have come to us to say, oh, I finally opened my Flutterwave store and I'm not selling. as much as I thought I will, or as much as I thought I would be selling. Now we have, there are major roles you also need to take part in, right? Because most of the customers that you have want to see a clear description of your products. Now you might be doing some things wrong, which we have tried to highlight to make you guys understand how best you can make use, or how best you can optimize your Flutterwave store. So now the description of your products on the Flutterwave store today, you have a particular section dedicated to that, where you can explain explicitly what your product is. Now I have this on my screen right now, and then there is you don't need a lengthy explanation of what your product is or what your product does. Oh, I have jollof rice for sale is totally different from I have prepared this jollof rice with love from my kitchen to meet your needs, you know. So this is like a major part to play here in your sales on Flutterwave Store. You want to explicitly explain to your customers to say, I have this particular product. It is made from this, and this, and this is what it can do. You can have this in like 2-3 lines, explicit enough for your customers to understand what exactly you are selling and how they can get it. So there is this particular section already dedicated to that on the Flutterwave Store, because we know how important it is for you to sell your market, for you to describe your products, just so your customers or your potential customers understand what you're trying to sell. The next would be, next slide, please, Balali. So if you're able to explain explicitly, you also need to be able to take nice images. So now on Instagram, you see people go as far as doing a photo shoot for products, right? This is just because you want your products to be appealing to the eyes. You don't want to put a trashy or a regular looking product. You want to ensure that your product has a clear view, and then your customers can clearly see. And then today we have also implemented multiple images on Flutterwave Store. And this is one of the reasons we did that, because we want you to be able to take different parts of your product, like from different angles, and then you're able to upload it, and the customer is able to say, okay, if I'm looking at it from the side, this is what I can see. If I'm looking at it from the front, this is what I can see. And these are like the major points that you need to note here. Using the right smartphone, you want to get a good smartphone, or if you're able to afford, you can get a proper camera where you can take your pictures. You also need good lighting, because obviously the lighting helps to show the image more, right? You also need good background. You see people going as far as I know people use some sort of nice backgrounds just to make sure that their products look nice. Then shooting from the right angles. Now, if you have a product and you know that if you take it from here, even a human being, when you're taking picture, you have like your right angles where you want to use, and this is your pretty angle, you know, just to ensure that your product, your customers see the best part of the product that you're selling, right? And editing, you don't want to over edit, obviously, but certainly there are some things that maybe your camera didn't get nicely. You hear people say, oh, these pictures don't do justice. So you want to do as much as possible just to ensure that you have the right pictures. Next slide, please, Bonali. And the third one would be the store brand checklist. Now, because you've had all of this, right? Image quality, your product description, your product description, store description. Another thing you want to really note to ensure that you are able to get out there is your social media pages, right? Because everybody today either has an Instagram page or has a Twitter page, right? And what you don't project or what you don't put out there, nobody knows about it. Now, if you're pushing your products on your social media, you're also pushing the link of your Flutterwave store that you have created. There's a reason you created it, right? For your customers to be able to make payments. Now, if you're shouting about your products, then you want to also shout about the link that you have created, that, oh, I have this for sale, and you can easily pay for it here. So you have it on your Instagram bio, you have it on your Twitter bio, you have people talking about it. We also have a page where customers can go to search. We have a marketplace, a Flutterwave marketplace, where customers can go to search the number of stores that we have on the Flutterwave store today, right? So these three major points are what we're able to put together for SMEs like you guys to be able to project and to be able to see that you sell as much as possible on your Flutterwave store? Because obviously, if you guys are selling, then it's also a plus for us, because that's what we're trying to do and that's what we're trying to achieve for our Flutterwave store, especially for SMEs today. And the next question, I'll let Bolanle take the next question so that we can quickly ramp this up.
Thank you, Ope. I hope you guys can hear me. So I think one more thing on the last question is also your exchange and refund policy. So when you set up your store today, on the store where you're able to, tell us about your exchange policy, your refunds policy. If you sell ladies' wears, for example, and you say that after payment or after delivery, there is no refund or you can't exchange the attires anymore. It needs to be clearly stated. Why? Because when you create a Flutterwave store, you're not just selling to your usual environment or your usual market. You're getting into a larger market, and there are people who have not come in contact with your business before. There are guys who do not know about your product. Maybe somebody saw you on BB Niger, for example, and now comes to look for you to want to buy from you. They want to be able to know everything that they need to know about you. So they're not worried about what happens when they make payment or what happens if they actually, paid for the wrong item or if they selected the wrong size. It needs to be very clearly stated. That way it would help as many as possible who want to buy from you to, have their questions answered, to take away the fear or the phobia with buying stuff that you're buying. Some people still have the phobia about buying things online because they feel that, when I go to a shop, I can wear it, I can change it, I know who I'm dealing with. But the world has changed so much that you can't wait for somebody from Kenya to have to visit Nigeria to get to your store to buy from you. You want to be able to sell to as many people outside of your immediate border. You want to be borderless in your business. So you need to ensure that your refunds, exchange policy, they are very clearly stated and it's as simple as possible. So there is there's no confusion here or there. Now to the second question. I know a lot of our SMEs got mails at the beginning of the month. I'm telling them that August is our small business month and we'll be celebrating SMEs all through the month of August. There's been a lot of ads on our Instagram handles, our Twitter handles, our official pages, talking about what we're doing in August, how we're trying to highlight and shine the light on SMEs who are doing well and moving the economy. And we've in those communications, we stated some of the benefits that SMEs on Flutterwave Store will be getting this month if they continue to be on the platform, continue to do transactions, or even set up their store. But we've had a few questions. People are asking, so what does it mean for me? What will I be getting? We got a lot of questions about how Flutterwave will help me advertise my business or get my business known there. And we're working on that feedback. So this month, being our small business month, we've created these offers. We have 3 different offers that we want to give as many SMEs as possible in whatever part of the world. So it's not just restricted to Nigerian SMEs or a particular geography. It's SMEs who are on Flutterwave Store in any part of the world. So this month, if you set up your Flutterwave Store and you're able to get your customers to do at least one transaction, on your or from your store, you'll be eligible for free Instagram advertising for your business. We've decided that, at the end of the day, it's about why did we do this? It's about keeping the lights on. It's about enabling SMEs make sales. So rather than just putting Instagram ads advertising a few SMEs, we want to move that budget into our SMEs. So as many SMEs as possible, we want to pay for your Instagram ads. We want to get you in the face of your current customers and your potential customers. We've also, in terms of, getting the businesses out there, we realized that branding, how a business is branded, is very, very important. There are probably very rare businesses where you are the only one in that industry or in that segment. Most people are selling the same things that so many other stores are selling. What stands you apart, what gets you known is how you are branded. People want to not just buy an item, they want to buy a brand, they want to buy affinity to you. That's why everyone is trying to buy a Gucci bag or a Hermes bag or something, because there is a brand attachment to it. And we believe that we can help SMEs brand their businesses as well as possible. You can get them to get the right trainings on how to brand, such that when people are buying things from you, even if you're selling jollof rice and there are 50 people selling jollof rice around you, or even selling the same thing, you will still stand out because you are branded in a way that makes people not just want to eat jollof rice, but want to eat jollof rice from your own brand and business. So there'll be free, as many transactions that you do or that your customers are able to do buying from your Flutterwave store will make you eligible for a free class with Blessing Abang. It's a free branding class, and it will be holding this month. Then the next thing we also do is, like we said, it's all about the publicity, the views, the engagement. So it's one thing to have done branding, it's one thing to have getting Instagram ads, it's another thing to understand your business and how to maximize your profits, your customer, your clientele, your whole the different sides of a business that can actually help and support each other. So we also have consultants, who will be working with SMEs this month. Helping them with business advisory, helping them with things from what they need to do in terms of keeping their books, how can they maximize the analytics that we provide on Flutterwave Dashboard today to be able to drive more business. There are people who have bought from you when you open your Flutterwave store in May or in June who haven't done repeat businesses. You want to ensure that you are able to mine that data, the data that Flutterwave enables you have. You're able to mine that data to increase, your business and, create not just repeat businesses, but create brand ambassadors for your business. People who will go out and do referrals for your goods or services and get more people to come to your platform. All those things will be available. There is a link that we're sharing right now. Sean will put that link on the chat room. You can click on that link and you can sign up, and then we'll be able to engage you, see what you're doing on your store. Is your store properly placed? Is it live? Are you selling? Have you done some sales this month? And then we'll be able to sign you up for these courses. So that's about that for what Small Business Month really means. There will be a lot of communication around that later this month. Opa, do you want to go on this, or do you want me to go for the next question?
That's fine. Yeah. I can go. So the last question we have is, I don't sell physical products. How can I sell my digital or service-based business on the Flutterwave dashboard? Now, today we have something called payment link, Flutterwave payment link. It comes in handy you can actually use it for anything, name it, whatever it is. Maybe someone is owing you money and the person is not in Nigeria, or someone, sorry, before I go ahead, I see some questions in the chat room. As Oji mentioned, it will be better for us to streamline. So you can put your questions in the Q&A section so that we don't have it all mumbled up with other comments in the chat room. Okay, so as I was saying, we have the payment link. The payment link just enables you, excuse me, enables you to take payment from anywhere, from anyone, right? So if you're selling digital products or service-based products, or your service-based business, you're able to send this payment, create a payment link and send it to whoever it is you have provided service for, or whoever it is that has gotten content from you via website or wherever, or anywhere. You're able to send them this payment link to make payment. Now, for the payment link, just like the Flutterwave store, you don't even have to have a website, right? So most people will tell you, oh, I need to collect payment, but I don't have a website. Fantastic. That's what the payment link is about, because you're able to go to the dashboard today. If you have a Flutterwave dashboard, if you're registered on Flutterwave, you're able to go to the dashboard, just create a payment link and then send to whoever is owing you. You can also have, if you sell, maybe you sell digital products and you have people who pay a subscription, you're able to also have the subscription-based collections on there, because you're able to have recurring payment. So you're able to create this payment link and then tell us whether the customer is going to be paying weekly or monthly, or whichever way that you deem fit. I will quickly show us that this is the last question. So I will quickly show us how to do that, just in case anyone has a digital product or wants to do something like that. So Bolali, if you may, please let me share my screen. So this is the Flutterwave dashboard, right? We went through all of this last week. I mean, for the part one, if you were here, you would have been lucky to see all this. But I'm just going to go straight to the payment links. So as I was explaining, all you need to do is come on here, go to payment links, right? And then create one. Once the payment link is created, you're able to, so here, just click create payment link. So as I mentioned, you're able to also have subscription link. For people who do donations as well, you're able to use this. So I'm just going to go ahead and create one. So let's say, this is actually my friend's page. So let's say palm wine supply, right? And you put the amount. So here you're able to either edit the amount if you want. If you trust your customers, you can leave it. If you trust your customers to pay the full amount, you can leave it. However, if you edit the amount and you put the exact amount, then your customers will not be able to edit. So that way they're not able to change, be funny or anything like that, right? So I create this, and then you want to put your description. Palm wine supplied 2 weeks ago to Lekki, phase 1, right? And then you create the link. You're able to also have more options. I'm sorry, I created that in a hurry. You're able to also have more options. So what happens here is you click on the link, right? Or you view the link. So if you're able to, so once the link is created, you send it to your customer. So this is what your customer sees. Here is the description I put. Palm wine supplied to Lekki phase 1, blah, blah, blah. And then customer puts in their name, right? So you also know who is making payments and their email address. Very, very easy and good. And then it takes them to the payment page. I'm not going to make this payment because I don't want anybody to chop my money. But yeah, that's all you have to do. And then you just proceed to make payment. These are the payment options, and then you're good to go. So it's as easy as that. If Bonali, I don't know if you have 1 or 2 things to add to this.
Yeah, thank you. But I was so happy that you showed them about the payment links, because I thought, it'll be nice for them to see it. I think we have a few people who are new here this week. So I think one other thing I wanted to add is, it's also, I think somebody put it in the question and answer section about the fact that they sell ebooks and would like to be able to make people pay and then get their ebooks later. You can either use the payment links, or you can still have it on your store. Today, I think one of our biggest use cases and success stories that we didn't even see or envision when we created Store as a product was people who were launching, their books, who are selling digital books, or who are authors, trying to get their books out. In the last 2 months plus or about 3 months that Flutterwave Store has been created, we've had over 4 or 5 authors, sell out, like bestsellers, and it was from Store. We've had Laju Iren, we've had I'm trying to remember the title of the book, but we had like about 5 people who were, some people were, they were known authors, but some people were first-time authors who had just written a book, and the pandemic happened, and all their plans of having a big book luncheon was not going to happen, and they could use the store. So where you have the, images for Store, you can put the print of your book in there, so people can actually see it. It doesn't have to only be the link, in case people want to see what the cover of the book. When you're buying books from Amazon or Barnes and Nobles, you even it's a digital book, you're not necessarily holding, but you're able to see what the front cover of the book you're expecting or you're buying from looks like. So you can actually have that in where you put your images in a very nice picture of what the cover of the book looks like. You could, since we have multiple images now, you can have a cover of the book, you can have the back page that shows about a synopsis about the book and the author. You can have a few more pages that maybe shows something important, what readers are saying, or what people who are publishers or known faces or names are saying, and then have all those images there as your own book. and then people can click and pay. And because on normal today, when you make any payment on Flutterwave Store for a merchant, your customers get a receipt from Flutterwave, but bearing your logo saying you have bought this book from this person. Thank you. This is your receipt. They get a message so that they can know that their payment was successful and confirmed. You also get a message from Flutterwave Store that enables you to also know that somebody has paid for this. So when you get those messages, you can now, I would advise, because of what we've seen people do, most people have their MailChimp or they have their mailing lists and the likes. You can now use that information of who bought you, what's their email address and all that. You can now send them mails, thanking them for buying the book and, including the link to download the book from there. That helps you keep, contacts with your readers. You want to get feedback from them to know what they thought about the book or how it was sold. I think another use case aside the guys that sell books is when we say digital products. So people say my product is really not digital, I'm not necessarily doing anything that is digital in that sense. So we've had use cases of people who own laundromats or who are into laundry businesses. We've had cases of people who are into house cleaning, who are, efficiently using their Flutterwave stores to actually drive their business. So I know the case of the house cleaner, the person had beautiful images of a house that has just been cleaned, like before and after, and then in their product description and in the the way you say a red shoe, and then you describe a red stiletto shoe with 4-inch heel and all that. What the person did with theirs was they said 2-bedroom home cleaning or 2-bedroom apartment cleaning, and in the description they say what exactly the 2-bedroom entails: kitchen, bedroom, living room, and maybe 2 other rooms and externals, dusting and all that. And people have been able to use them. So they go on their Flutterwave store. If I live in a 3-bedroom apartment, I know exactly what to click. If I live in a big house with a big compound and I want them to do more than just clean inside the house, but the exterior, the customer has created different type of sub-products for what is, a service kind of business that's not necessarily digital, but they're able to use their Flutterwave store to sell and to drive. And that way they've been able to convert their manual, receipts, their manual books or diaries that they used to write address and names and all that. They've been able to convert all that, into an platform because they get receipts, they have analytics, they know how many customers they have from Lekki Axis or from the mainland and the likes of that. So there are a lot of use cases with your Flutterwave store. You're not limited to only the hard things that you sell. We've seen salons, we've seen hairstylists, use it where they show you, a picture of the braids or box braids and tell you how much this length and this is under the description, and people have been patronizing them. So that wouldn't be limiting you in whatever sense. I think that's all I wanted to just add, that some people are not necessarily digital and you're wondering, how do I use the Flutterwave store? You can use your store, you can also use your payment links. Depends on what works for you. If people pay you recurring, you have a magazine, like a soft sell magazine that people get digital copies for, but they have to subscribe for maybe 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance, or you want them to be debited each month for whatever it is that they have subscribed to. The payment link subscription page works perfectly for that. It enables you decide how recurring, what they like, and how easy it will be for them to use. Today, a lot of businesses have WhatsApp business pages. They have WhatsApp links that they send to people or to their family and friends. You can also send your Flutterwave store links or your payment links to those WhatsApp chats or WhatsApp groups, and people can click and patronize you as they would if they were to walk into your physical store. Okay, I think that's about it.
Yeah, thanks, Bolanle. I wanted to also just quickly run people through the payment page, right? I saw a glimpse of a question asking the charges. So if you noticed, I put, when I was creating the payment link, I put 1,000 Naira on my screen, right? That's for the payment of the service or the goods that was purchased. But here you see 1,014 Naira. Why? Because there's a charge of 1.4%. Now, this customer has decided to pass all of the charges to their customer. That way, they're not paying any charge on, there is no charge on them, so they don't have to bear an extra cost. Now, you have an option of either passing the charge to your customer or bearing it yourself. So in a case where you have already incorporated any sort of charge in the cost of your products, then fine, your customer also feels good that, oh, there are no charges here, because you have found a way, you know, to incorporate it in your cost. If not, you could easily pass it on to your customers, right? And then once the payment gets to your customer, it's your customer that is making or that is paying for the cost of the transaction that is going to happen. So there's a transaction charge of 1.4% capped at 2,000 Naira, which means 1.4% of the transaction amount will be charged on each transaction. However, in the case where you are a high value, your products are high value, and 1.4% is over 2,000 Naira, we won't possibly ever charge you over 2,000 Naira, and that's what the cap means. So the cap basically means that whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever charge that is being charged, it won't go above 2,000 Naira. That's one thing I wanted to mention. And another thing I wanted to mention, I hear Bolanle talking about the subscription as well. I know I didn't go through that, so I wanted to just show us that quickly here. So one second, please. If you have customers that you usually pay, or that usually pays in subscription, or you supply them something and they need to pay maybe in maybe weekly or monthly or anything like that, you can also have that through the Flutterwave Store. The Flutterwave Store will help you to create payment. So if I go and create payment link here, I can create a link the first way I went, and then this subscription is what I would need. Now I can say payment, subscription payment, or whatever it is that you have provided, book on ebook, right? And then you can put in the amount. If not, you can leave the amount. So if I put in 10 Naira, for instance, you're able to explain, so monthly subscription or weekly subscription for Things Fall Apart, right? And then you can put how you want the payment to be taken, or how you have explained the payment will be taken. This would have been explained already in your maybe terms and conditions or policies or whatever, right? And then you can select any of this weekly, and then you can say how many times you want the subscriber to be charged. Now, if you say 10 times, so 10 times will be 10, that means it's going to run for a period of 10 weeks, excuse me. Right, so if I say 10 times, you can then create a link. You can also have other options where you want to customize. Maybe you want to put your own URL, or you want it to redirect somewhere else, or you have an extra information to just put. You can add as many things as possible here, maybe to just explain some more, and then you're able to create the link. Yeah, so that's what I needed to explain. I probably need to go into questions and answers now. OG, please.
People are asking how they can categorize their store and sizing and color options for their business.
Okay, if it's what I'm thinking, so we have the description part. Bolanle, I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, let me take that question. Okay. Yes. So I guess the person, I think I saw the question. The person sells ladies' wears and sells different things, shoes, bags, clothes, and the person wanted their store to be kind of segmented, so people come in and they go to where they need to go to. We've gotten that feedback, you know, from our customers, and we're currently working on a new feature that would enable you to be able to categorize or class your products. As soon as that is ready, we would send emails letting you know that we have done this and it's ready for you to use. At the moment, it's still in the works. So today when people come on your store, they will still see it all together, but it's a feature that we're already working on, and we hope to be able to, you know, get that available for you as soon as next month. If you know, when we started the Flutterwave Store, we only had one product image. We had not had multiple images, and when we launched, everyone liked it, and people said, oh, I need to show different sides of these images. I want people to be able to see, you know, different sides of what they're buying, and we quickly worked on that, and we released that feature a few weeks back. So we've also gotten this feedback, and we're working on that. I'm hoping that by next month's webinar, we'll be able to share the good news that you now have that feature available for use. In terms of sizing, I think they've also done that. Your stores should be activated sometime this week. We had tested that, and we're hoping to release that, into the future, so that if people want to buy stuff, you're able to specifically state, instead of having to read through the product description, what the size of what they're buying is, or what it looks like. So you would see this new additions very, very soon on the Flutterwave store. We've gotten the feedback and we're already working on it. Thank you.
Okay. The next question is, how do I get my insights? I think the person's asking, how do they get their store insights after receiving payments from their store? So how do I get my store insights?
What's insight?
Like their dashboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So apparently, I'm sure the person wasn't here at for the last webinar. We have a proper dashboard that shows you the entire number of transactions that you have done, failed transactions, successful transactions, email addresses of the people who tried to pay, everything you can think of that has happened with a particular transaction that gets on the payment page. So you're able to see everything on your dashboard today. I will quickly show again what that looks like in a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds really. So 1 second, I'll just share my screen for that person quickly. This will take a few seconds. So here is where you see everything happening on your dashboard. You're able to see your available balance, your ledger balance. You're able to see number of transactions that have happened. If you go to transactions, you can then specifically see who paid, when they paid, what they used to pay. You can also still click on this for more insights. So it's a fully loaded dashboard where you can see all your transactions and everything that is going on with your customers, all the details that they have put in. If it's failed transaction, you can use this to reach out and say, oh, this has happened, I'm not, or you can reach out to the customer to ask, oh, I see that you have tried to make a payment, what happened, blah, blah, blah. You can also see the reason actually. So if you saw that a customer tried to make a hard payment and it failed, you can tell them, oh, you can also use bank transfer. Like it's a fully packed dashboard where you can see all of the transactions and what's going on with each of the customers.
Okay. Thanks, Okwe. The next question is, the person's asking that she has 2 different types of store, and then she would like to run both of them on the same platform, same dashboard, same account. Do we have anything in place for this?
So because store is based on your dashboard, right? I can only create a store on my dashboard because that's what I'm logged. So, the way it works is you log in and you create a store, and that's where all the transactions are going to be happening. Now, if you have 2 stores, you might also want to maintain 2 different stores and 2 different dashboards, because obviously you want to be able to have good reconciliation of what's going on. You don't want to have things jumbled up and mixed up, and you're like, what payment is this, and what service did this person pay for, right? So you have each store per dashboard per each Flutterwave account. Now, if you want to run both together, you can also put it together in one Flutterwave store. Like, you can upload all the pictures that you want on there, and then your customers can make payment. That way you are able to put everything together in one dashboard for you to look at if that's what you really want.
Thanks, Okwe. The next question is, can the Flutterwave store be used for drop shipping?
Bolali, do you want to take that?
Yes, let me answer that question. So we are currently, because we know, I think there's some questions on the Q&A. Someone said, I really don't want to be stressed about organizing shipping myself and deliveries. Can that also be incorporated? And we got that feedback. So we started engaging delivery companies. We're currently in testing so that we can be sure it works, it's fine, people got what they need to get, and then we'll release to everyone. So a few of our earlier merchants have signed up to be part of our test group to test the delivery service. that we're currently running, so that we can offer it to everyone. But at the moment, because it's in a test group, it's a controlled group. There are just a few people that we have selected that we're dealing with. It's not general. So if you signed up on your Flutterwave store today, you would have to manage your own delivery. But we're hoping that, before the end of next month, we should be done with the beta test and be able to release the feature to everyone. So if you have your own delivery system working, you can either use that, or you can just use the ones that we've created with other partners. Today on Flutterwave Store, for your deliveries, if you have delivery companies or logistics companies that work with you, you can just state there, the areas, mainland this price, island this price, based on what agreements you have with your current delivery partners. And when people pay and they put in their address or they click the area based on what you have designed, they know how much it would cost to get the items to them. So I can't say that it's open to everybody. It's a beta test. So they're just about, I think we're doing with 100 merchants right now, or 150 merchants who are on our test. We're in our test group, then our cohort for the delivery service. Once the result of that delivery test is great, it's good, we have no challenges here and there, we'll release it to everyone. So if you don't want to run with your current logistics system, you can always have Flutterwave do the delivery for you. I look forward to sending the mail very soon to you guys. So just hold on for us.
Okay, the next question is, someone's asking, do we have any custom plugin for WordPress site? Yes, we do. We have plugins for WordPress, for Wix, and the like.
Magento, for everyone. If you check flutterwave.com, you'll see all the sites that we have plugins for and that you can use.
And someone's asking again, can Flutterwave be used to send payments abroad? If yes, how? I need to send payment to a bank account in Germany. Yes, you can. You can send payments abroad. You can send to the person's bank account, the mobile money, different payment method you can send to their bank account.
A lot of people are getting confused with the payment links and the Flutterwave store. Now, the reason we showed the payment link was because people are saying, I have a digital product, right? I don't want to be on Flutterwave store. I just have a digital product where I want to send payment links. Now, the payment links are different from the Flutterwave store. For the Flutterwave store, I also see questions of people asking, do I have to create a payment link for each of the products I upload? No, absolutely not. So the way it works on Flutterwave store is you have just one link. Your one link is showing all of the products that you have uploaded and the prices and everything. So your one link is showing like a website, a mini website basically. If you were here for the part one, Bolanle showed extensively how it works, right? So once you upload all your products, that one link is what you share with all your customers. And then once they click on it, they see it like a mini website and they see all of the products that you have uploaded. So no, you don't have to create for each of the products, because obviously that will be defeating the purpose. You're creating just one, and then as soon as you're even updating, so if you already have a payment link, right, and you've uploaded 10 pictures today, and tomorrow you've added stock, and tomorrow you go on your store and you upload one more image, it's going to automatically update on the link that you have shared. So if your customer clicks on it tomorrow, they see all the products that you have added again and the number of stock that you have. If a customer buys something today, the stock drops automatically because it also updates. It updates itself. So if you put 100 products today as your stock and I buy one, by the time someone else is clicking on it, the person is saying 99. So there is no mix up, or there is no, we are sold out and somebody already paid. So that feature is there. So payment links and Flutterwave store are two different things. We only showed payment link today because we had showed Flutterwave store before.
Okay. Someone's also asking, can I set my store to sell to only people in the state or city? Example, Abuja only.
But I don't think that.
Yeah, so I think
I can chime in
Wendy, please
here.
go. Yeah.
Okay. So hi everybody. Sorry, having technology issues this morning. That's why my video is off and I'm not hosting. But so yes, you can set your delivery to only, when you're setting up your shipping on your Flutterwave store, you can set your shipping to only the locations that you deliver to. That way, people will only see the option for delivery. You can also state this in your product description and your store description as well, that you only deliver to a certain location, and then you can set your delivery to that location only. That way you are basically informing people that you only deliver to that location. All other locations are not you're not delivering or servicing those locations at the moment. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Next question is, I opened my store yet to make sales. I mean, this webinar is about making the most of your Fluttery store. And if you came late, we have resources on our blog and also on our YouTube channel that you can check that will help you with making sales on your Fluttery store. Next question is, there's a question about, can I add my phone number to the Fluttery store in case anyone wants to call?
So okay. I think I can answer this question as well. You can add your phone number to your store description. You can also add it. Yeah, so when people visit your Flutterwave store, there's a store description at the bottom of the page. Your phone number can easily be added there so that people can contact you whenever they need to. That's something that Flutterwave Store already supports.
Okay. Thank you, Wendy. Next question is, does Flutterwave Store accept payments from everywhere in the world? And any currency equivalent to their, sorry, hold on, let me read this well. Does the Flutterwave Store accept payments from everywhere in the world in different currencies? So can you accept payments using your Flutterwave Store in different currencies? Yes, you can. You can just set that using the settings page in your Flutterwave dashboard. You can just edit that and put the currencies that you want to accept from people. I hope that answers your question. Next question is, would we provide space in our store that will enable sellers to and logistics company as delivery? I think the person is trying to ask, would we be able to put on more delivery companies so that sellers can use their delivery company? If I'm right, I think, yeah.
So I think Bolanle already answered that question before, before now. So that, I mean, Bolanle already answered that. So I think that person should be fine.
Okay. Next question
if they have their own delivery, if they have their own delivery company, they can on store today, put the delivery details and all that. And then when they get the messages, they get their delivery companies to pick from them and sell. In terms of Flutterwave Store being able to add delivery as an additional feature, yes, we're working on that. And hopefully soon we'll be able to, share with our users the kinds of ways they can actually use delivery on the platform.
So there's another question with drop shipping. So can I place my item on the store that is not currently available because they ship overseas and delivery might take 2 to 3 weeks? Yes, you can put that, but you have to state in the description that it would take 2 to 3 weeks for them to get their delivery. And I feel that you can always reach out to them and just update them on when they will receive the goods. So yes, the Flutterwave Store allows you to do that too for drop shipping. Can I add my Facebook? Next question is, can I add my Facebook page to my Flutterwave store? At the moment, you can just add it to your product description. You can put your Facebook page name, your Instagram, the Instagram name to your handle. You can add that to your product description. Your store description.
Oje, I think I'd like to also add to that person asking. Today, most people already have where they contact you or your most available platform. So before Flutterwave Store, maybe you have been very versatile or very active on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. So what you should be doing is not necessarily waiting for people to come to the store directly. You need to take your store URL and your store links to those platforms that people already know you, where you already have visibility. So it's faster for them. So you're not just leaving your customers to begin to search themselves. So if you're somebody who before now uses WhatsApp. You're the kind of people that do, you do broadcast messages on WhatsApp or Telegram to people and say, yes, new arrivals, this and that. What you need to do is that same medium that people already used to expecting you or expecting to hear from you from, you should be telling them, guys, guess what? You can now buy from my Flutterwave store. You can now check this, or put your link in your bio or on your Facebook page, or make it a highlight, or pin it to your wall or something. So that way your customers are still within where they are, able to quickly find you, rather than waiting to walk them back from store to your current media channels.
Okay, thank you, Bolanle. The next question is on the analytics page. Is there a way for business owners to know how many people view their store and they make purchases? Just they want to know if they are visible enough, if people are actually clicking their links or people are checking that.
I think I'll take that question. So we have done something on the Flutterwave end where we see people who, it's not necessarily readily available on your transactions page right now, because the transactions page basically shows you people who have completed an action with you. But on our end, what we did is we've seen people who go to stores, started, maybe even dropped items in carts and then just left. So we send an email on your behalf to them, telling them, hey, you dropped this bag on the store or on ABC store, ABC fashion store. Quickly get it, complete your transaction now so that you get it before someone else picks it up. We do that regularly today, and we've gotten feedback from a lot of our merchants who said, oh, a customer said they got a mail from Flutterwave telling them that I did not complete my transaction, or that I started, or that I clicked on even pay but just did not finish, because people can just get distracted and all that. And then when they got that email prompt from us, they go back and they complete transactions. So yes, it's not something on your own page that you can easily access at the moment. It's part of the features that we'll build over time into it. But on our own end, we've automated it in such a way that once somebody comes on your store and starts a transaction or starts, a buy, starts the funnel of, or the plan of buying, I've clicked on something into the cart, or I've liked a particular item and I just leave without doing anything, we automatically send them an email telling them to, complete the deal, or, make payments, or, do something, so that we don't just leave your store hanging and people just keep checking without, making a transaction or completing a purchase.
The next, thank you, Bolanle. The next question is, someone's asking the question that I've always asked they're always being asked by their customer, if the Fluttery store is real, or are they a legit vendor? That how can they go about these questions?
So are they referring to Flutterwave Store being real, or you being real as a customer? Because what your customer is seeing, or what your customers would be seeing when you send them the Flutterwave Store link, is Flutterwave / your own name, right? Which is maybe your business name or your personal name, or whatever it is that you chose to use. So we have a couple of people today who already are on the platform, right? And then they're making successful transactions on the platform. So you might want to explain or let us know what exactly you mean by if the business is real, if it's the Flutterwave business, or if it's your own business. If it's your own business, then you probably need to do some more work on your end to ensure that people or to have word out there that this is what you do. Obviously, people have some doubts when it comes to social media, but then you have to have had a couple of reviews from customers. So you want to probably post reviews from other customers that you have serviced or whatever. If they're referring to Flutterwave, then you can easily share our website with them. It's a properly legit business, as we may all know, in this country and even beyond. So yeah, I don't think you have any issues with that. You could manage that appropriately. I don't know if Bolanle has something to add, or Wendy.
I think you answered it well. It's basically, Flutterwave is quite known, and not just in Nigeria, like you said. We're known in many countries in the world. We're currently regulated by many central banks and, you know, banks in the world. So we're not a fraudulent business. That already gives you a, you know, people know that if you have been accepted on Flutterwave Store, meaning that you've completed your process, you've submitted documents, we know about you, it means that your business is legit. Now, maybe in the URL, maybe the naming, how you've named your URL is what is discouraging people. It's the same way you don't want to apply for a job and the email you're using on your CV says best girl for dance at something.com. You want to ensure it's something that people know and can relate to it. So maybe you need to check your settings, check what you did when you were setting up. Is it your own individual name you used? If it's your individual name, people might get worried that your name is not a store. Maybe you need to check it and be sure that it's your business name or the name that people know your business by, or that maybe your Instagram, your business page handle is what you have, including your URL. So today your URL is flutterwave.com/store, this name, a blue, you know, a blue ocean or a blue restaurant name. If your naming is not right, it may put people off or get them worried. Remember that this COVID has only hastened or fast-tracked people's openness to buying online. Most people still have that phobia. So you want to ensure that as a business, as much as possible, you are not giving them any reasons to doubt, which is why we started the webinar by saying, you know, why am I not selling, or what's not happening? Maybe you're not describing your product well. Maybe you're not describing your business well. There's a part where your business is described, so people know exactly what this business is about, and they're not just thinking maybe it's a front, you know. So I think check those things out, and then get your family and friends, people who know and have bought things from you, to also be the ones sharing these links, you know, and saying, oh, this person is legit. I know this person is my friend. This is his number. This is his WhatsApp. And people can feel like, okay, they have a, you know, a point of contact with you, and they're not worried about, you know, buying from your store.
Thank you, Bolanle. The next question is, what is the return policy on the Flutterwave store as a store owner?
The return policy will be your own return policy, because different stores or different customers have customized policies, right? If I'm business A and I say no refunds, no exchange, business B might say, oh.
Basically, you're the one who sets your refund policy. You probably used to a lot of businesses online where you go and they tell you after payment, no refunds, or some people tell you after 24 hours, no refunds. You are the one who sets it. It's part of what the things you need to put in place when you're setting up your store. So when people go to a store and they're purchasing, it is clearly stated there that this business doesn't have, like, we don't allow refunds or exchanges. Once items are bought in good condition or whatever have been delivered, that is all. Or some say you can reach out within 24 hours. After 24 hours, items bought will not be, you know, exchanged or refunded. Some people tell you that if you're buying, especially people who sell shoes and wares, once the shoe has been worn or, you know, something has happened to it, there is no, you know, exchange or refund. So you as the merchant are the ones who set your refund policy. We only broadcast everything that you said that your business does or permits. We don't set anything. Remember, we're not the one necessarily selling. You are the one selling. So you want to ensure that you state what your terms and conditions and what the rules are, so you have less customer drama to deal with.
Okay, thank you, Bolanle. Bolanle, this question is for you regarding the emails that are sent to people that leave items in their cart. So someone is asking, can this be applied to people who have Flutterwave, the API integrated to their e-commerce website? Would they still get these messages? Would their customers still get these messages?
Yeah, so for the APIs, remember that the APIs that we provided for your individual websites are basically APIs to process your payments. Our APIs, and I'm assuming that the person asking or some people on this channel are technically savvy, so I'm not sounding too technical and people are getting lost. But for whoever asks this question, I'll try to say it in the parlance and in the speak. The APIs that we provide for you, if you're the ones building your website today, are basically payment APIs, meaning that our interface doesn't come up or doesn't, it's not seen. Can you guys still hear me? I think my internet connection is acting funny. Can you hear me,
we
OG?
can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, with the APIs, we're only basically processing your payment. And that only happens when the person has gotten to the part of pay after he has agreed to different things, the pricing, the invoice, he has put his description. When he clicks pay, the only thing our APIs are showing your customers is the checkout modal that allows them input their card details or click on mobile money payments, depending on what part of the world they're in, or, pay with bank transfer or pay from their Flutterwave account or Bata account, as it may be. It's only at processing end that we get to interact with what you're doing on your platform. Flutterwave Store, the reason why we can do that today is because we are hosting the entire life cycle of the business. So the merchants have trusted us enough to help them with managing inventory, managing sales, managing payments processing, and also dealing with dealing with maybe delivery claims, or even helping them to collect the payments for delivery. The whole life cycle of that sale is on us. It's we're managing it, so we're able to see and say what is happening. With the website, the only part that you integrate us into your flow is at the point of payment processing. So whatever the merchant has, or whatever the customer has done on your website, from selecting items, from clicking and viewing, are things that you will be seeing on your panel. So maybe you need to engage your engineers or the guys that designed the platform for you. So maybe at the point of designing your website, they must have included Google Analytics in. That helps them know how many people have viewed your website today, how many people clicked on a particular page, what page is the most visited page. Those are the things that your website developers will be able to get for you. And then you can use your mailing system to reach out to them. But if it's the APIs, Flutterwave APIs do not come up until when people are about to pay you. So we're not necessarily involved in the start of the transaction, such that we'll be able to help you reach out to your customers after. I hope I clarified that. But for the store system, we are in charge of the whole process. So we have visibility to be able to see who went on ABC Creams and did not complete. Let's send a mail on behalf of ABC Creams, nudging the customer to complete a purchase. Thank you, Oji.
Thank you, Bolani. The next question is, what is the difference between the Flutterwave Store and me creating a website on my own? Are there any limitations?
So I'll take that question. They're all, so I'm believing that by your website, you're creating your own, either your own e-commerce store or your own system whereby you engage your customers. The Flutterwave Store today was created for the thousands and even millions of SMEs who do not have $500,000 for example, if someone is in Nigeria, or a couple of thousands of dollars to create a website on their own and begin to manage it, and who need to be able to easily collect payments from customers, whether they are buying from them on Instagram or on WhatsApp or on Twitter, and not just the guys that are here, but really people who want to take their businesses globally, who want customers in other parts of the world who see them to be able to pay. So there are kind of like two different personas or use cases. If you have the capacity and the means to, develop your own website, depending on what your services are. Your website does a lot of things for you, not just payments and collections. Some people's websites are where they engage with their customers in terms of other things that they do. They have their blog posts, they have different sides to their business on their website. That's all good and fine. Our APIs today are available to help you with that website to still collect payments. So you integrate it together and then you can still continue to make your sale. But for the thousands of, merchants, SMEs across the world who know that, I'm just starting. I'm a small business lady that has just started selling wigs and all that. I don't have 500K or 1 million naira to pay for name hosting, for website development. Flutterwave Store was created for those kinds of people. So they're able to immediately take their businesses online, increase their reach in terms of both sales, both customer appeal and ease of processing. Today, when people say, but I already sell on Instagram, I already sell on WhatsApp, my question to them is, no matter what you're selling, your sale is still probably very local. You can't really be global, because if you're selling on Instagram today and you tell people DM me to complete, or I send you my bank details, if I was going to buy from Nairobi, from you, because Instagram is large, is worldwide, somebody from some village in one part of the world or in another town or city can see your product and want to buy, and then you tell the person on DM, send account details, send to this account. You know that it's not that easy when it comes to international payments for the person to easily pay you in their own currency or method, and you receive your payments here. Most people in Nairobi are using M-Pesa. You cannot directly today do an M-Pesa transaction into a Nigerian bank account. But Flutterwave, as a payment processor, as a gateway, we enable that payment seamlessly. So I tell people, if you're already selling, yes, people are still doing local, Nigerian people are buying from you. With Flutterwave Store, you can actually go big, go global. You can, take out the borders and the things that will disturb or limit your sales. So it's different use cases. Flutterwave is able to support both use cases. Depends on what it is that you're doing and what works for you. If you're a website owner, we have our APIs that your website developers can integrate to enable payments and transactions. And if you do not have websites today, sign up on Flutterwave Store and we still take you, online and global. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is, what is a sandbox? What is a sandbox? I know it is where you test, but is that when you activate the sandbox, it takes the store offline, or there's something else it does? Okay, Bonale.
I think so.
It actually takes the store offline. So a sandbox basically is where you test. So you're correct. Sandbox is just for tests. So most customers or most merchants want to quickly run tests before you go live. Obviously, you want to have a working process and be sure that you're able to take payment before you go live. So sandbox is basically where you test. So on our dashboard today, you have. So once you turn on the sandbox, that's basically testing. So you're not live when you turn on sandbox. Once you turn it off, then you're live, and then you can take live payments on your platform. So the sandbox is, you rightly mentioned, is just to test and be sure everything is working fine before you turn it back to live.
Okay, great. The next question would be, how do I put up a pickup address on the Flutterwave store, on their Flutterwave store?
I mean, you rather not deliver, so you have your customers rather pick up, which is fine. You could include that in your description, right? Because obviously, if you're not going to be doing delivery, then you put out clearly to say, this item is available for pickup only at blah blah blah. You want to put in your details or your address for pickup. And as Wendy already explained previously, you could actually add your phone number as well. So you can put in all the details you want to put in your description box to just say, we don't deliver, it's only pickup available, and you can pick up from here, contact here, or this phone number, and etc. So that's quite easy. You can just put it in your description box.
So I'm going to be going through just 2 to 3 more questions. So the next one is, my store is in Naira. So how can I get the money in dollars?
So what I had mentioned earlier was, if you had taken payments in NGN, Nigerian Naira, we are only able to settle you in Naira, right? However, if you're taking payments in USD, i.e. your customer has paid you in dollars, we're able to either settle you in USD or in NGN. NGN, we are able to settle you NGN because obviously that's our local currency. So it's easier for us to convert both. Exchange both. So yeah. Then the other question was, how can you list in Naira? So with the payment link I showed you, you must have noticed that there's a place that had NGN, and then I had to put in the amount. You can change that NGN. So there's a drop-down list of currencies that you can change to, right? So you can either change to USD, you can change to GHS, you can change to GBP, whatever it is that your customers are paying in, And then you can still put, if you want to still put the amount, fine. If not, you can leave it open. But that's where you're able to edit the currency that your customer is going to be paying you. So once you edit that, your customer will be able to pay in that currency that you have put in. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, so we have 2 more questions to go. So someone is asking, what if their customer pays offline? How are they able to add that to, how are they able to log that in on their Flutterwave store?
So today on the Flutterwave dashboard, we have something like that where you can just impute your transactions, offline transactions, i.e. So if you have, so these were majorly for people who take cash payment in their offices or in their stores, or I mean their physical stores. So if once you take this physical cash, you're able to go on the dashboard to impute it manually by yourself. So that way you're just keeping track. So you didn't take it online, but you're trying to keep track just to ensure there's reconciliation, right? So you're able to go on there and then put it in manually that you have taken this amount from a physical customer, and then you just have that registered for your reconciliation purpose.
This person is still asking, how can they withdraw their money from their account, and when they get payments, where does the payment go to? When they receive payment from the customers, where does it go to, and how can they withdraw it to their bank account? Then another question is, can they have, sorry, another question just to add is, can they have their businessname.com instead of Flutterwave /Flutterwave.com / can you hear me?
I think Okwe's network is tapping out.
Okay, let me go through the question again. The person is asking, when the customer pays, where do they receive the money, and also how can they withdraw their payments to their bank account? And another question is, can they have their businessname.com instead of Flutterwave.com / the store?
I'll start with the first question, which you said I don't mix them up.
Right,
the person asking about how to receive their payments. So today, when you sign up on Flutterwave, we ask you where you want to receive. We ask you for bank details, depending on what part of the world you're in.
Okay, depending on what part of the world you're in, it's going to ask you to put in the account details that you want to take payment. So it's going to ask you, there are 2 different types of collections or settlements that we have. You can either have it directly in your wallet. That's your Flutterwave dashboard, where you can do other transactions from, because today you're able to do transfers from there. You're able to buy airtime from there. I mean, you can just have your funds there and you can do transactions from there. Or you can have it paid directly into your bank account, which you would have supplied at the beginning where you were doing your registration, right? So your bank account details are asked for basically for us to be able to settle you. Once you put in your account details, all the transactions that were done, for instance, today on your store, will be settled to you tomorrow. So it's called T+1. So ideally, they will tell you once transactions are done, it is T+1, i.e., transactions that are done today are settled to you tomorrow. And that's because all these have to go through a processing file, right? So once all the files are processed, your funds get into the supplied account number. That's the account you have provided to us the next day. So ideally, you should expect all the payments that were done yesterday, this morning, into your bank account. You also have an opportunity of changing your bank details. If you were here the last time, you would have understood that as well. You can easily go to your settings and say, oh, they blocked my Zenith bank account, and that was what I provided. That's not a problem. You can easily edit and change it to GT Bank. Or tomorrow you can say, oh, I've now opened a corporate account. I want all my funds to go in there. So yeah, that's basically how it works. So you get your funds the next day, depending on what you have.
I think we need to add also that depending on where the funds are coming from, local funds to your local market are T+1. So if we have someone here who's from Nigeria or Ghana, you know, if you're local, if your customer from your same country, from a Nigerian pays you, you get it T+1. If a Ghanaian merchant pays if a Ghanaian customer pays a Ghanaian merchant, they're both local to the same environment, it's T+1. But if you're receiving international payments, that's payments that are not necessarily within your geography. You're a Nigerian merchant now, and somebody from Ghana or somebody from the US paid for something on your store, there are different timelines to it because there are different timelines for processing across the world. So sometimes it's T+3 in some cases. In some cases it's T+5. In some cases it's T+7, depending on what part of the world the funds are coming in from. And we would let you would get that information. So when you're told you just received a payment of $500 from the US, you know, you would get information on when you'll be settled. You know, international T+7 or T+5, in 5 days that dollar will be settled into the domiciliary account that you gave us, the US dollar account you gave us to settle it into, or the Naira account or Ghanaian account or Kenyan account that you gave us to settle you into. So T+1 is basically local transactions in the same geography as you, while T+7, T+5, T+3, depending on what area of the world the funds are coming in, it's for international payments that are not from customers local to your environment. I think another thing I wanted to add, okay, was the question about being offline. I think beyond just the fact that somebody comes into your store and pays cash and you want to put the information, today Flutterwave also allows you to sync with your consumers' already known behavior. So there are people who their customers today still don't do card payments and they're doing bank transfers. When you set up your Flutterwave account, we create a bank account for you, an account number that you can actually share with them. And if they use that account number to pay you like they normally do with their bank transfer, the details are captured in your analytics, in your board, in your transaction page. And you can see that this person paid you and it was bank transfer. I think when I was showing the dashboard, the transaction page, there were a few transactions that were bank transfer transactions. So when you say offline, meaning maybe the person did not pay you with your card online and the person decided to just take the account number and pay you, yes, you get that information on your data, on your dashboard.
Thanks a lot for clarifying that, Bolanle. Thanks for clarifying, especially the local and international, because obviously there are two steps, as Bolanle already explained. It's very important to note so that people don't wonder why they haven't gotten their funds when Okpe said T+1. So T+1 is for local, and T+5, T+7, depending on what location, is for international, especially people who get funds in USD and other currencies.
Okay, the last question. I'm sorry that I can go through everything right now, but the final question is, can they have their business name.com instead of having flutterwave.com/store/ their business name?
So, Bolanle, do you mind if I take that?
Yeah, I could. Okay, yeah, you could go ahead, please.
Okay, I mean, so it's pretty simple. Flutterwave is the provider, right? And then you have to have the provider somehow, even though you're able to still customize your payment link somehow. I mean, the link that's going to show somehow, there's still a way for Flutterwave to show, because obviously that's like that's who is providing the service to you.
Yeah, but the host,
right?
The
so
host
as
site.
much as you can customize, the Flutterwave will still come into play one way or the other. And if I may also ask why the person wants to entirely take out Flutterwave, because I don't think that's a good idea for Flutterwave. So if you can customize as much as possible, but we still need Flutterwave to show. We still need you to, I mean, put us out there as much as you want to be out there, right? So yeah, you can customize, but we preferably would love Flutterwave to show for it.
I think it's not, I think beyond that we love, the fact is today anything.com means that that's the person paying the hosting. That's the website that is paying the hosting rights, the server rights, and the likes of that. Remember I said when I was answering the questions around, somebody asked what's better, a website or my Flutterwave store, or what's the difference? The truth is, if you have a website today, you have a website, and you can have your .com, but you know that for you to have owned that name, and you paid for that web name, you are probably maintaining a server somewhere there. Maybe you're using GoDaddy, or you're using Namecheap, or all these guys, to pay to have a business name. You are the host, all the rights and links of that website. If anything goes wrong on it, it's on you. And that happens because you are the one that has made, that's your website. You've done all the payments. Those are the things that run into thousands of naira and dollars. Now with Flutterwave Store, you can't remove Flutterwave.com from the name. Why? Because that's the site that is hosting it. It would not be accessible or visible on the World Wide Web if they cannot find the host company or the host owner, the person that owns the name. So Flutterwave.com has bought a name, a store link, a host that they are now allowing many merchants to use. So if you want to have your .com name, then maybe you should be looking at the route of getting a website, which will cost you some money, but great if you can afford it. And then we can, provide our APIs to you at no cost for processing. But if you're using Flutterwave Store today, it's obviously because you know that all the additional costs are not things that you want to bear. And having the flutterwave.com / your business name really doesn't change anything, because people don't need to memorize it. They just need to know that, they click a link. If you're giving them as a link, they just click it and they do what they have to do. They don't have to necessarily memorize the entire URL to be able to sell or buy from you. I just thought to add that.
So yeah, apart from the fact that it's being hosted, right? As I mentioned, it's a service that Flutterwave has decided to offer to SMEs. Now, as Bolanle mentioned, if you even decide to have your own website, which you would be paying for, even if Flutterwave gives you the API free, we don't charge setup fee, you would still be paying someone to do the integration on your behalf, right? So so that's just like adding more and more to your expenses. So you probably want to deal with having the Flutterwave / your domain name, which still has your name anyway. So that's what I just needed to add. It's providing a service to you. So obviously you're using the Flutterwave as a basis for the website you should have created in the first place.
We are done. We've answered all your questions. And if you feel like you have more questions to ask us, you can send an email to hi@flutterwavego.com, or you can send us a message on our Instagram, the Flutterwave, or to our Twitter support, FLW support. Thank you for joining us today. And if you missed the last webinar, you can catch that on our YouTube channel, the Flutterwave. And we'll be sending you this webinar recording in about 2 to 3 days. So you can still go back and get this information, that we shared to you today. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's great to have you guys here. See you on our next, next webinar.
See you. Have a lovely week ahead.
Thank you everyone. Have a lovely week.